Thank you very much. May I have the handheld microphone for speaking, because just if I can borrow it from you, because I like to move around. Thank you very much. I have it on my own laptop. So, welcome back, and thank you for still sticking around and listening to this session, where I can introduce our main project that I'm currently working on. It's called FuturICT 2.0. We're also the knowledge and networking partner of this event today. And I would like to give you a short introduction in what we're doing with the consortium and why this is important to us. So we start very quickly with the challenges. So the background of what we're doing, this is kind of hard to see again, but we're looking at what are the global risks that we face. And this is a map from the WEF Foundation, and they say in the center of the risks we have things like failure of climate change mitigation and adaptation, large-scale migration, and also profound social instability. And as a common root for these risks, we can often identify a lack of sustainability. And this is why most of us are here today, because we think we have to tackle this lack of sustainability in a new way. This is also a graph that shows how many Earths do we need. It's calculated by our footprint, ecological footprint, and it shows that Australians would need 5.2 Earths at current consumption, and in Switzerland we're at 3.1 Earths. And India comes at 0.6, so India is still doing much better per capita. And but the world as a whole is using 1.7 Earths at the moment, which is totally and clearly unsustainable. You can also calculate your individual footprint at the footprint calculator. So what is the main problem that we're facing here? It's in principle a misalignment of goals and incentive structures. So I think most of you have seen the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals on the left, and this is more or less what we can call a global agreement of what we need to achieve. On the other hand, we have the actual outcomes or the individual incentives and incentives for companies, and they look very differently. For example, if you take goal number 6, which is about clean water and sanitation, and then you look at current rates of wastewater treatment, and you see that 90% of wastewater is actually released into the environment untreated, you would say there is definitely a mismatch between the goals and actual outcomes. The same is true for the Paris Agreement, where we say we would like to stay below 2 degrees, but for most people, if they have to choose between a train or a plane, they would actually go for the plane, because it's often cheaper, it's quicker, and there are not enough incentives for people to choose a train. How can we go about this mismatch? There is the classical option that is often sought for, and this is the way of top-down regulation. You see like a classical approach like Sweden has taken, that every plane that lands in Sweden or departs from Sweden has to pay a tax, an environmental tax, which is, I think it's a good, probably a good try to do it, but the question is whether it's really effective, and what are the other effects that such measures can have. On the other hand, the right, to your right, this is the ranking for nationally determined contributions and current policy ratings regarding to the Paris Agreement. And it's the G20 nations, and you can again not read the countries, but what it shows, and this is kind of disturbing, is that almost all G20 countries, their national policies are ranking from insufficient to critically insufficient. Again, there is one country that is currently 2 degrees compatible, and it's India. So again here, good to know. On the other hand, when we also go out in India, or we're in the streets, we see that there is a lot of challenges, and the air quality is often not that good. And I don't think that we can say India is on a really good way to solving environmental problems, but as compared to other G20 nations, you're doing really good. So the question is that we have: is this really enough? And is it suitable for the level of complexity that we face? We say no, we need a different option, and this is what we call a smart distributed incentivization. It's really about having communities like cities, NGOs, companies that can define actions they want to support, and then users being able to prove these actions through either social-based proofs, sensor-based proofs, or oracles. And when they can prove their action, they would be getting tokens they can afterwards use for specific measures. I have a short video to show about this that I would like to show to you. Now we need the sound, huh? Do I need an extra cable for sound? Sorry.
Our values often seem to be detached from our daily choices. For example, biking to work is a choice that benefits a few communities. Your boss might be happy because you're healthier, and the company has lower costs for providing parking space. Your city has fewer problems with commuter traffic and improved air quality. And because you don't need to fill up your tank, you're helping to reduce the global consumption of fossil fuels. Or let's say you only buy clothing from socially sustainable sources, where employers pay their staffs a living wage and foster a healthy work environment. In reality, many people choose to drive to work, and many prefer to buy cheap clothes from employers who exploit their workforces. Local and global values do not easily translate into individual incentives. But every day, many people and communities do actually make vital contributions towards achieving common human goals in the realms of environmental sustainability, health and care work, social integration, education, and beyond. It's just that our current economic system is so bad at valuing these social goods and services. Shouldn't it be easier to value these kinds of contributions? Imagine a new system, which we call Finance 4.0. in which interest groups and communities could define positive actions and reward people who carry them out. These rewards would take the form of a variety of digital currencies which would represent different shared values. Imagine if you could collect ecology coins and health coins for your morning bike rides, and sustainability coins for buying fair clothes. You could then use your coins to access rewards that the communities choose, such as a free bike service or discounts. In this way, we can build a decentralized system of incentives that empowers everyone to make everyday choices that benefit our world. Find out more in our other videos and visit us at www.FuturICT2.eu.
Okay, that was the video that should give you a very good overview of what we're trying to achieve. And what is really important to keep in mind is that this is a system where your privacy would be guaranteed. So it's really about you just have to submit proof of actions, but this is not linked to your identity, just to an address, for example, on the Ethereum blockchain, and then you would get your coins paid out to that address without somebody collecting all the data about you and the things that you've done. So it's not a system for surveillance, this is a system for empowering people to be more sustainable. The main opportunity behind it, and we've heard about this, so I'll be short, is that today money is in principle programmable in many ways. And we can design the function of tokens, special qualities, the integration of collective decision makings, even community creation, and conceptual design of reputation mechanisms and its connection with identification. So the reputation, in a sense, will become your ID on the platform. So you don't have to have a officially government ID, but you have your reputation that you can build on. We're working on a few demo applications. On the left, you have a screenshot from the actual app as it exists. You can go there, create your own coins, can identify what kind of coins these are and what you want to give them for. We're also working on use cases, for example, with the city of Zug, that's another small city in Switzerland, and WWF. And we run a hackathon every year and a block course about these technologies. And last year, we had more than 26 projects that were coming out of this week. You can find the code of this open source project on GitHub, so it's open for everybody. You can use the code, and also you find information about the projects on this second link, the bit.ly one. My time is up, I see, and I'm done. Thank you for your attention, and if you have questions, I'll be here for the discussion afterwards. Thank you.